Hi producers, my name is Chrissy Tigner, aka Data Child, and I'm here to talk about one of my favorite topics ever, microphones. And not just any microphones that are under $500 that won't break the bank and sound incredible. I'm a true believer that you do not need super expensive equipment to get a great sound on your recordings or in your productions. These are just a few of my personal favorites on this list. Obviously, there are many mics that could fall into this category. So if you have any other mics that you want folks to know about, leave a comment below. I'm going to show you what each of these mics sound like recorded, with zero effects, totally dry. That means no tuning or anything. I'm not a professional singer, so please be kind. It's for science. All right, let's get started. We're gonna start off strong with the least expensive microphone on my list, and it's this one right here. This is the MXL 990. These little beauties usually go for around $100, but I've seen them go on sale for even cheaper. Do not let the price fool you. This is an amazing microphone. The first person who ever introduced this mic to me was the legend Sylvia Massey, and we were working together on a project, and she pulled this out as one of her favorite vocal microphones. I looked at her like she was crazy. I said, how could this possibly be one of your favorites? You have access to all these incredible, crazy expensive mics. And she said, trust me, this mic is really great. And to be honest, I didn't really believe her until I listened to it. And now I'm totally converted. I love this mic. It's a cardioid condenser with a pretty flat frequency response. It's also really easy to mod if you want to change out the capsule. This is what the MXL 990 sounds like recorded.
Don't want you to hide away. Show me the real you.
As you can hear, it's nice and clean, really great representation of the voice. Not bad for $100. Microphone number 2 is one of my personal favorites, and it's the Telefunken M80. This mic comes in around $300, but it's super customizable and you can get pretty much any color. Teal is my favorite color, so of course, I had to get this one. This mic is a dynamic mic, but don't let that fool you. It's got a really great high-end brilliance without being too harsh. It's a super cardioid, and the head and capsule is designed to reduce proximity effects so you don't have as much boominess and buildup of low frequency when you're using it. It sounds fantastic both live and in the studio. And if you've ever seen any of my content before or follow my personal channels, you know that I'm using this all the time. And I'm not the only one. Snoop Dogg uses it too. Here's how the Telefunken M80 sounds recorded.
Don't want you to hide away. Show me the real you.
It sounds great, especially for a dynamic mic. Next up, I really wanted to include a USB mic, and this one, the Apogee HypeMic, is fantastic. This mic comes in at about $350, but the beauty of it is you don't need an interface. You can just plug it in and it works. It's a cardioid condenser. It's really small and portable, so you can take it anywhere, and it comes with a pop filter and a stand. This one's great for vocalists and podcasters. It's got a built-in preamp, headphone monitoring, and A to D conversion. And my favorite thing about this mic is it's even got built-in compression. It works on Mac, PC, and iOS with very little latency. Here's what the HypeMic sounds like recorded.
Don't want you to hide away. Show me the real you.
It's really lovely and warm. Great for this tiny little mic. I'm sure you're probably expecting that I'll include the Shure SM57B. However, I'm gonna throw a little curveball at you with the iconic SM57. The SM57 is usually known as an instrument mic, but it can also create incredible vocals. It comes in at about $100. This mic sounds incredible on guitar amps and also drum kits, but it's fantastic for loud singers, rappers, and podcasters as well. Legends such as Erykah Badu, Madonna, and David Bowie have all been known to use the SM57 on voice. Another fun fact, every US president since Lyndon B. Johnson has delivered speeches on an SM57. Here's what the SM57 sounds like recorded.
Don't want you to hide away. Show me the real you.
I just love an SM57. Last but certainly not least, we have the Aston Spirit. This is a large diaphragm condenser that has variable polar patterns, a filter, and a pad built in. You can seamlessly switch between cardioid, omnidirectional, and bidirectional. This mic is beautiful on vocals. It's bright, but it's not too harsh. It's a really solid construction, which means that you don't need a shock mount for it. You can mount it directly on the mic stand. It also has a built-in mesh pop filter that really helps with plosives. Noel Gallagher of Oasis loves this mic. And here's what the Aston Spirit sounds like recorded.
Don't want you to hide away. Show me the real you.
What a beauty. For me personally, I gravitate toward two different mics for my voice. The first mic that I tend to use the most would have to be this one, the Telefunken M80. The second one would have to be the Aston Spirit. So let's process the recording that I did using the Aston Spirit. The first thing I'm going to do is add some tuning to this recording. Then I'll add my vocal chain using all stock Pro Tools plugins. If you want to use this template yourself, check out the description below. First, I'm going to add a parametric EQ. I start off with a high-pass filter. I put that on pretty much every vocal recording just to make sure there aren't any plosives, P's, B's, low-frequency proximity effect, any of that stuff we don't really want. Then I've added a little bit of a dip in the low mids or the muddy frequency range just to clean it up and give it a little bit more sparkle. I have a tiny dip. There was just a little bit of harshness to my ears in that area. Last, I'm going to put a high shelf around 16K. And that's a really high frequency, but it adds all that nice airiness and brightness and sparkle to the voice. So I always add a little bit there. Next, we have a little de-esser that gets rid of some of the S's and T's that are overly present. And last, we have a compressor. My go-to trick when setting parameters on a compressor is to identify whatever the quietest word is in the phrase and set my threshold there. That means anything louder than that will be compressed. I like to start with a 5-to-1 ratio. That's usually good for most pop music. Go for a higher ratio if you want more compression, lower ratio if you want less compression. And then whatever I've lost in gain reduction here based on that process, I add back to my output gain or my makeup gain here.
Show me the real you. Don't want you to hide away.
One cool trick with Pro Tools, if you have a compressor on the voice and it's picking up the breaths a little bit too much, I personally tend to breathe pretty heavy, so I tend to have this problem. What you can do is you can highlight the breath, hit Command E or Control E if you're on a PC, and that will separate the breath. Then you can go down here to your clip gain and actually physically turn down the breath so that it's quieter than the threshold of the compressor. That means that it's too quiet for the compressor to actually hit and start compressing and gets it out of the way of the rest of the voice. Of course, always add your little fades. Next, I'm going to add my effects and my ambiances. I like to start off with a plate reverb. I also like to include some type of tape delay or a stereo delay, and also doubling. Even if I don't use these, it's nice to have them ready to go in case I want to add them to the recording. In Pro Tools, if you hit Command or Control on PC and click on the little letter next to each one of your sends, it creates a mini fader, and that keeps you from having to open up another window. Very helpful tip. For reverb, I have a large plate reverb using Deverb in Pro Tools. It has 3 seconds of reverb time, about 47 milliseconds of pre-delay, and let's hear how it sounds.
Don't want you to hide away.
Next, I'm using Pro Tools Mod Delay to create a mono tape delay. You can also use this plugin for stereo delays, but for this particular song, I wanted to automate the last word of the phrase to only have the delay on it. So that's what I did. Let's hear what it sounds like.
Don't want you to hide away. Show me the real you.
The delay is a quarter note delay with 40% feedback, and it has a low pass filter at about 3.4K. To create the automated delay effect, I just opened up my automation lane and then chose my lead vocal delay mute automation. Bringing that up allows me to mute the actual send itself and only turn it on when I want it to repeat certain words.
Don't want you to hide away.
It's pretty cool. Last but not least, I always like to set up a doubling effect as well. This is really useful if you want it to sound like you have multiple singers at the same time. I like to use a delay for this to give it a little bit of a stereo feel, like I have voices down the middle and like some on the sides, left and right. So what I've done is I put on the left side 40 milliseconds of delay and on the right side 30 milliseconds of delay. So we have a slight delay on either side. No feedback for a doubling effect, don't forget.
Don't want you to hide away. Show me the real you.
It's a pretty fun effect to know how to do. You can do this with pretty much any delay plugin, but use it however you like. I've also recorded some harmonies and layers with the Aston Spirit, so let's hear the finished product.
Don't want you to hide